Welcome to Boulder City, Nevada, home of the Hoover Dam, home of history, and home of the weirdest, wackiest, most DIY, most punk rock monster museum in the United States. Of course, I'm talking about my friend Tom Devlin's Monster Museum, a place I've been to many times. We've looked at it on regular Randomland episodes, but one thing we've never done is taken a tour of the Monster Museum with the creator of the monsters himself, Mr. Tom Devlin, which is why we're here. But not only are we going to get a tour of this epic, weird monster museum full of all kinds of creatures and props and movie magic, we might even step inside the movies that Tom is now making in what he calls his, well, you'll find out, his Backlot, which is in a separate building nobody's ever gotten a tour of before. So get ready, strap in, hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husbands, because we're going inside Tom Devlin's Monster Museum. All right, we are now inside of the gift shop and the entrance to the Tom Devlin Monster Museum. Wait a minute, it's not what it's called. It's called the world famous Tom Devlin Monster Museum with the world famous Tom Devlin, my friend. But tell our other friends who you are, what you do, and how you started a monster museum.
My name's Tom Devlin. I own and operate the Monster Museum, where we strive to preserve the art and history of practical effects. I also do practical effects, and I have been an effects artist for about 25 years. And I direct my own films and we own a production company called Plan 10 Pictures.
How many movies did you say you worked on earlier?
I have worked on 167 feature films.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Any we might have seen?
There are a ton that you have seen, and when we get into the museum, a lot of my personal work is in there, as well as a poster with every single photo on there of everything I've worked on. And you'll look and you'll go, "No way, you didn't do that." And I'll say, "Yes, I did. This is what I did on it."
I've been coming here for 5 or 6 years. It's hard to count because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And you've changed the museum many, many times since I've been in here. First, it was a little small corner. I started coming when it was like half the building and the other half was workshops. But you keep changing this thing all the time, so I'm assuming there's new stuff that I haven't seen even since the last visit.
It really is like the mystery house, right? Like it's always shifting and changing, and that's what I don't know. I keep it fresh because the YouTubers come here, everybody sees it out online, and then I want when the people show up, they don't know exactly what they're going to get.
Right, it's going to be different. So whatever we see today, it's going to change again.
Most likely. I try to change it about 3 times a year.
Oh my gosh.
Or at least add a character or take away something.
We're going to ask you 8,000 more questions.
Let's go.
This is the Huell Hauser grab right here. The Huell
Let's
Hauser
go.
grab. But let's go inside the museum and see it. And Tyler, fake Tyler, who's behind the camera. How you doing, Tyler?
Doing well, thanks.
Tyler's doing really well. Has never been inside of the Monster Museum. This is it.
Let's go.
Let's go. Come on in, Tyler. You might need the light turned on. Normally, there's no flash photos allowed.
This room is a little dark.
We can take flash photos, right?
You can do whatever you want. So a little dark in here in the first room. We're still under construction. This is the Plan 10 room. So
and Plan 10 is
my production
company.
company. So this is a film Teddy told me to. With our character Teddy and some of the actual screen used props. And Justin, you were in this film.
I was in the very
You were
beginning.
The first to die.
Yes.
Spoiler.
So if anybody wants to watch Teddy Told Me To, which is now on Amazon Prime, it's on YouTube.
Amazon Prime, YouTube rentals.
It's coming to other places
Coming
eventually.
to Tubi,
I'm in the first 10
January.
minutes. So
Yeah.
if you're too scared of horror movies, you can watch me get killed and then I guess you could turn it off, but you shouldn't. You should watch the movie.
And we have some good, all of our production slates over here.
So you're starting with Tom Devlin original movies.
Yeah. So, and we have to build this out. We need cases and shelves because the movies are just coming rapid fire.
How many movies have you made so far?
7 films in the last 2 years.
That's
feature films.
Yeah, and I'm only in 3.
You're in
Darn
3.
it, I need to get in more of these movies. Okay, so this is really the real entrance to the Monster Museum.
It will be.
Look at this. Is that you, by the way? People
That
ask me
is,
that
of
all the
course that's
time.
me.
They're like, is that Tom? I'm like, it looks like Tom.
Yeah, look, he's got the tattoo. It's me.
Oh, and then here's another character
That's
right here.
Las Vegas Frankenstein.
Las Vegas Frankenstein. Get in there.
Original. See, this needs to be in glass. We need to make shelves in glass.
But right now, he's still here. Can I touch him?
Yeah, you shouldn't, but you
I
can.
shouldn't. Don't do this when you come into. You know, he's a lot softer than I thought he was going to be.
Foam latex.
He's a cuddly guy.
That's really how you make monsters.
Okay, so here we go. We're going in here. How did you get started making monsters in the first place? Like,
Man, I loved He-Man as a kid. Like, I loved He-Man. And I wanted to draw, and I wanted to sketch and be a comic book artist. And then I met this guy, Bill Frazetta, the son of Frank Frazetta, legiondary fantasy artist.
The painter?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And he turned me on to Tom Savini and what Chiller Theater was, a horror convention in New Jersey. And then I fell in love with horror. Had I ever...
How old were you?
I was about 13,
No
14.
way.
But had I ever gone to a comedy convention and met Woody Harrelson and Jim Carrey,
You might have been a comedian.
my whole life could have gone in a different direction.
When did you start actually doing effects and makeup and stuff? Oh, come in here, Tyler. Check this out.
I started messing with makeup and effects when I was about 14, 15.
So it's right from the gate.
Yeah, creating my own monsters. I built a Frankenstein statue, and it's funny because this is an upgraded version of mine. I mentioned an artist earlier when we were talking Henry Alvarez and Mario Chiodo. Mario Chiodo, not related to the Chiodo brothers. He sculpted a beautiful Frankenstein. He was a wax figure
Yeah, you were talking about how you're a fan of wax museums and wax sculptors.
He made a very famous Frankenstein mask and hands for Elusive Concepts when I was a kid. And I remember purchasing those and building a statue much like this one, but now this one I sculpted all this.
So you've been doing this for years and years, even before you broke into the movie. How did you start getting into the movie business?
So like any troubled kid that had a hard time in high school, I dropped out, moved to Hollywood, and got a job on X-Files.
That's so crazy.
And that's what it was. I was working on X-Files before my class graduated.
That's insane.
It was insane, man. And I didn't know how great it was because, like, at the beginning, I thought you moved to Hollywood, you get a job in the movies.
Sure.
My first film ever was Scorpion King with The Rock, and I was on the Universal Backlot.
I don't think I ever even knew that.
Yeah, and X-Files Season 8 was the first show I ever worked on. As an intern for 2 weeks, got hired on full time, stayed there for 2 years, working on the biggest budget I've ever worked on. I worked on Terminator 3, CSI Miami, Charlie's Angels 2, Daredevil, everything you can imagine at that time.
And that's how you started.
That's my beginning.
So how did it segue into the B movies?
I never wanted to work on big budget Hollywood movies. I moved to LA to work for Full Moon on Puppet Masters. I wanted to work on Troma and do like Toxic Avenger. I love low budget monster movies, bullshit monster movies. So while I was there, one of my mentors was this guy, Tim Considine. And Tim created Toxic Avenger for Toxic Avenger Part 4, Citizen Toxie. And he started...
a classic.
Recommending me on like lower budget jobs on the weekends. So I would go out in the middle of the DeSoto Woods in LA and work with some guys with an XL1 camera and do monster movies on the weekends and build my repertoire a little, build my confidence working by myself. I did a movie called Devil's Moon or something. I don't remember what it was called. But it had Tiffany Shepis and Trent Haga, two of my favorite Troma actors. And I'm still very close with Trent Haga. He's in my movie Teddy Told Me To. He's in most of my movies, actually. I love Trent. So we became fast friends when I was a little kid because I was super fanboy. I was like, oh my God, Trent Haga from Toxic Avenger Part 4 and Terra Firma. But while working on these big budget movies, I started moonlighting on very little movies.
It's just weird that you got right into the big budget stuff, and then it's almost like you had to work your way up into the B movies.
So I got offered a job at KMB Effects, biggest effects shop in the world.
Oh, let's move this way while we're talking. Look at this, by the way, the classic movie monsters. It's Fake Tyler's favorite thing in the world. Spooky Tyler.
We got Mummy over here.
You got the Mummy, and I noticed something. These walls look awfully familiar to me.
You would recognize
these are some
walls.
Randomland walls from Midsummer Scream.
Donated from Randomland to here at Tom Devlin's Monster Museum.
I'm a big philanthropist like that. Yeah. So you were breaking into the B movie world.
So breaking into the B movie world, I got offered. After my time at WM Creations, I went and worked at Almost Human on Buffy and Angel. And,
Okay.
2 big shows. And then right from there, I got offered a job at KMB Effects by Howard Berger, biggest effects shop in the world. And still, to this day, biggest effect shop in the world.
That's crazy.
And I said, I'm a pass. And the reason why was I never moved to Hollywood to work for the guy.
Right.
I moved to Hollywood to be the guy.
To be the guy.
And to be the guy specifically in a Tom Savini fashion of low-budget horror flicks, blood and guts and monsters and blah, blah, blah. I didn't want to get stuck on another show. I did CSI Miami for 3 years.
Right.
Wonderful job. Learned a lot. Had great Clinton Wayne, Ryan McDowell, great mentors. Not what I wanted to do.
No, this is what you grew up
It was never
loving.
about a paycheck. I wanted to make monsters. So I turned down KMB. I was broke for a year. I started 1313 Effects in 2002. And now we're here in 2023. And 1313 Effects has accumulated a huge resume. And
what year did the Monster Museum start?
Monster Museum started...
Because you went from Hollywood to Florida.
To here. And the Monster Museum started in 2017. It was we're in our 7th year right now. We just celebrated our 6-year anniversary in July.
Okay.
So 7th year right now. And the Monster Museum, everything within here, everything you're looking at, I made. This is actually my head. I sculpted.
Yeah. Come look at this.
Dawn of the Dead costume photo op I did for Paul Muzzar, the original plaid shirt zombie. He wore these appliances in the shirt in photos he did at a convention. But I sculpted it on my head so I could be the plaid shirt zombie here.
What about this? Did you build this Freddy Krueger?
Yeah, of course. This is Freddy. This is the third one in the museum. You've been here several times. So
Yeah,
you might have seen
I've seen different
some other
generations.
versions, but this is a silicone Freddy based on the Kevin Yeager sculpt from part 2.
So
which
how
I really
long does
love.
something like this take you? If it's just a head, let's say how long?
A week.
Because I've seen you build a monster in a day.
Yeah, I mean it really
for
depends.
conventions
It
and
really
stuff?
depends on what it is and
Probably the
also
materials,
how long
I'm
I've
guessing.
been thinking about it. Like if I've been thinking about something for a tremendous amount of time, like there's a new Jason Goes to Hell in here you've never seen.
Ooh.
And I have thought about sculpting that for the one that was here before. He's been
Yeah.
removed from the museum. I made that 20 years ago. It was the oldest figure here. And I've wanted to resculpt it for years and years and years and years and years. And I did it the other day. I sculpted it in less than a day, 4 hours. Boom. Molded it, ran it the next day, painted it the next day. It's
Oh my
and
gosh.
it came so quick because it was so ingrained in my brain.
Well, I just want to say I love the Monster Museum so much because it's a DIY thing. It's
Oh,
like the
yeah.
ultimate punk rock sort of.
Well, and we're also almost
underground thing.
Everything here is repurposed crap, like from dumpsters and stuff. This was a old metal wall I found behind the building when I moved in, and we've repurposed that. All of this is from a tanning bed that was here.
it's like Star Wars, like
Yeah,
how they
it's
like
all
kind of recycled all the junk into the spaceship.
and we don't buy it. We just
You're
find
like
it.
you're like kit
I'm a
bashing whole sets.
Scavengering, yeah. Totally kit
No, but I
bashing.
love it because it's like very underground feeling. It's like it's almost an extension of it's like a B movie come to life.
Yeah.
That's what the Monster Museum feels like to me. This is totally weird because this used to be like towards the end of the tour.
Yeah.
Now we're towards the beginning of the
beginning.
tour. Tell us about what's in here.
So here we have a couple of my favorite characters, and they actually share films, which is why they're next to each other.
Robert Zadar.
Maniac Cop, Robert Zadar. He's a little worse for wear. He got beat up in our haunted house a little bit. He's missing his pin up top. He could use some refreshing. And then, of course, Bruce Campbell, who played Ash Williams in Evil Dead. This is from Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, and a lot of these are your tributes to films that you like
Yeah.
or different periods in makeup
So
history.
a lot of people think when they come in here, oh, that's not the real Ash from Evil Dead. No, of course not. I was a child when that came out.
Right.
But I love Ash. And what this is that people don't know is that when I worked at that big fancy shop, that effects shop, they're the guys that did Congo. So that is a real life cast of Bruce Campbell. And then I ran
that's
I ran a
awesome.
clay pour and I sculpted all the part 2 stuff and opened his eyes. And so that is actually, repurposed from Congo. But
so some stuff is like your homage, your tribute, almost like a wax museum. But
Yeah.
then other stuff in here is screen used.
and the screen use stuff that I created is all labeled. So most of it's behind glass because
Okay.
I don't like it touched.
You'll have to point out
So
some of it
this
to
is
me.
some interesting new stuff that
Ooh.
some of your viewers might be familiar with. This is from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game, and I was hired, oddly enough, as like a consultant of authenticity. And this was
They figured you're the guy that knows.
I'm the guy that might know how Leatherface should move and act, and there was no makeup effects. It's all motion capture. You can see here is pictures of Kane Hodder, who played Jason in several of the Friday the 13th movies, plays Leatherface in the motion capture.
Oh my gosh.
So I made him a fat belly to wear, and I created these masks that he wore, not for motion capture, but for promo stuff, and also to see what Gunnar Hansen saw, to see the limitations. So,
Okay.
So he could understand how to move. This is a exact replica of the Paulan chainsaw that was actually used. It weighs 23 pounds, and Kane had to swing that thing around, and they
Oh my
wanted the
gosh.
real weight so it was correct.
So it was accurate.
And these are the boots he wore. He didn't have to wear cowboy boots. It's motion capture, but he wanted to move
Yeah.
like Gunnar. And
you wouldn't move the same if you were wearing Converse
correct.
or something.
And a very interesting fact that nobody knows. Gunnar Hansen, who signed this poster for me when I was 14 at my first horror convention.
This exact one?
First autograph I ever got
Whoa.
right here. Tom, you're next. And I always thought, does that mean I'm next, like, going to get killed? Or does that mean I'm next because now I'm working on the latest rendition of his version of Chainsaw? So that's kind of a cool
That is so
thing.
cool.
And the next autograph I got, the second autograph I got in my life, was Kane Hodder, who plays Leatherface.
That is so weird and
Yeah,
cool. I don't
it's
even know where we go now.
So, and this is my
The whole layout's
homage
changed.
to Chainsaw. I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It is probably my favorite film.
Oh, we got to go through the bridge
Yeah,
next.
now we go
This
through
is
the
the old Camp Crystal Lake Bridge.
yeah.
But what's over here now? What's on it nowadays?
So we just have some modern slashers. We have Leslie Vernon from Behind the Mask. One of my favorite low-budget slasher films.
I've never seen that.
Oh,
one.
it's awesome and it's hysterical. It's It's got Nathan Basil, who plays Leslie Vernon, is such a funny comedian, but he turns dark so quick. So it's like a mockumentary about a real slasher. And he's just, there's this great line where he's like, oh man, these kids are running their asses off and you got to act like you're not breaking a sweat. You know what kind of calisthenics that takes? You know, he's just so funny and it's really gory. It's a great film.
What's this?
And then this is Damien Maffei's character from Haunt. This is a haunted house film, and it was actually incredible. And a actor named Damien Maffei both played from Haunt and Strangers, Prey at Dawn.
And that's this guy over here.
Yeah.
See, every time I come in here, there's something new or something I didn't notice before that I'm like, oh, I better go watch that movie or whatever. Tyler, you ever seen those movies, Tyler?
Yeah, I've seen The Strangers.
Oh, he's seen The Strangers, he said.
This is from Strangers 2, which I find way more enjoyable than Strangers 1.
Okay.
Strangers 1 is like supposed to be really atmospheric.
Do you have to watch part 1 to see part 2?
Not at all.
Okay.
No.
And go this way. Look at this, Tyler.
Just go part 2.
Oh, look at this. See, I can see all this stuff has changed. The layout has changed. Everything has changed in this museum. This part was here last time I was here, and I really appreciated this
So
because
it's a little different now.
my go-to thing when I was like maybe 12 or 13 and we're like going to Blockbuster with our own card and it's Halloween was to do Friday the 13th. It was just the ultimate 80s into the 90s slasher franchise.
I am a huge Friday the 13th fan. And I've gotten the luck and honor to get to put a lot of these guys back in their costumes for these conventions and the photo ops. So this is the Jason Goes to Hell I was just speaking about. I made this in a record amount of time. There's bags behind his eyes. Don't worry about that. But the rest.
I got bags underneath my eyes.
The sculpt. All of these costumes that are right here, Kane Hodder has actually worn. They're made on his life cast and they're made for him. And this is
dude, that looks so cool.
This is from part 8.
How do you get him to look permanently wet like
so
that?
This has resin on it right now that looks wet. And then I do have the pumpkin face under, of course. When you're
one of the craziest shots ever. That's part 8, right? Is it part 8?
That's part 8.
Yeah.
And then this is part 7.
Jason Takes Manhattan.
This is part 7, and it's got also
No
the face underneath. This is foam latex. This is actually the one Kane wears at the photo ops. All of these are.
I'd like to remind everyone, you're not supposed to touch things in the museum. So
but I own the place.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
One of my favorite little, this is a little Easter
I
egg.
own the place.
This is an Easter egg. Everybody's like, oh, his head's falling off. This is Roy from part 5. If anybody that remembers Friday the 13th part 5, he's an imposter. So you got him, look, his face is in there. That's Roy wearing the cowl. So that's kind of a fun thing that if you do get a hoodlum that takes the mask off, they'll be like, oh, there's a guy's face in there.
There's a guy's face inside of a face.
A lot of people don't know why. That's because he's fake.
But I love it. You got all of them.
Yeah.
Is it every single one in here?
Not yet, but we're on our way.
Oh, look at this.
We're getting real close.
Look at this back here, Tyler.
This is part 2, Warrington Gillette, and I sculpted that for him to wear as a photo op as well.
That's so cool.
Unfortunately, that's a recast of the one I sculpted. Eventually, I want to put the original in here, but he's still wearing it.
Oh, gotcha. And then behind us.
This is the spider gremlin that was actually used in the film. This was donated to the museum. I don't actually own it. He just rents the room, basically, not with any money. He lives here free of charge, on loan from Michael Carbonaro and Peter Stickles.
That's so cool.
And they're fans of the Monster Museum, and they wanted
Who built all the gremlins in Gremlins
Rick Baker.
1? It was Rick Baker.
Rick Baker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a Rick Baker piece.
Yeah, that's Rick Baker, Steve Wang. A lot of really talented artists work on that.
This is what I'm waiting for, is the Tom Devlin version of Gremlins or Critters. I'm waiting for like the Creature movie. I know it's coming, and I want to be in that one.
It's coming.
I called dibs. Wait, walk me through this really quick. The process of like making some of this. Like, how does this start? If you're doing a full body figure.
So this is actually not as hard as you would think, because calling this a full body, there's small pieces to sculpt: the arm, the belly, the knee, the shoulder. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't a lot of sculpture. But then the costume work needs to match the movie, so that's kind of a hunt. You got to have both pockets. If you don't have both pockets, people are going to complain.
It's not accurate, right?
So, and then, of course, the head sculpts, like I said, about a week or so. It depends. Like, that Jason Goes to Hell came together.
See, that tells me, if I didn't know any other way, that tells me that you've got talent. Because you're like, about a week.
Yeah.
I mean, that would take somebody
Some people
weeks.
and because I'm fast doesn't mean I'm better than that. I wish...
Well, I like that some of the stuff in here is really quick.
You and I are wired very similarly. We're
That's part of the punk rock feeling of this place, though, is how quick you move sometimes. And I know you could sit there and go, I'm going to take 3 weeks and do the
don't know if I
perfect
can.
replica.
I would go crazy.
Right, but you're like, I want to get
I don't
this
have
going.
the attention for it.
Right.
I want to make my version, and I want to make it fast.
Yeah.
This is so Justin Mabry, another very talented artist, sculpted this head and donated it here to the Monster Museum. This is Ted White's look from Part 4, the final chapter.
Yeah.
My favorite Friday the 13th movie. And it kind of pained me to not do Part 4, but Justin is I mean, that thing is perfect.
It's great.
It's beautiful.
I ask you a question. Do you ever, I mean, you must walk through here alone. Do you ever get like freaked out by your own stuff?
Not at all.
It's never happened?
No, because also
You're never out of the corner of your eye
Since
just once
I
been
was
like,
a
whoa.
kid, though, like I made a Frankenstein mannequin that was in my bedroom when I was 14. When I lived in LA, we had this.
You know, I have that life-size Frankenstein that we
Yeah,
built,
yeah.
that action figure. And I've got it in my garage, and he's turned around backwards. But every once in a while, somebody will move him to get into a fridge or something, and just once in a blue moon, out of the corner of my eye, I'm like,
I have no react.
but you have guests in here.
Yeah.
So do they ever freak you out? Because I've been in here filming before, and someone will round the corner, and I'll scream.
I don't have that. I don't have that. I don't know.
Okay, wait, hold on, back up. Tyler, you go in there first. This is incredibly dark in real life, I want everybody to know. We're doing our best with our like news camera style. Okay, so this is the room of Pinhead.
Yeah, this is Hellraiser. So they're actually not finished, and I need to finish them. They all supposed to have hooks. Like he should have hooks here. Butterball needs hooks on his belly. Pinhead should have. He's pretty much finished. But yeah, they're all need a little bit of finishing work. But we wanted to get them in here and change the place up.
Yeah, these were, I don't know, Pinhead was here, but I don't know if everybody was in here.
They might not have all been in there, but I'm a huge fan of the look of the franchise. I love the makeup effects.
Yeah.
That, so many great artists worked on. I recently got to sit next to Simon, who played Butterball at a horror convention in Orlando. I think it was Spooky Empire. And wonderful human being. And Doug Bradley.
Crazy. So you got to meet all your different heroes and all these people, both makeups and actors and stuff. All right, let's keep going, Tyler. Cruise through there. We know this guy right
Hills
here.
Have Eyes.
The Hills Have Eyes. This is
Michael Bailey Smith.
This
from
is the remake. Yeah, and then here you've got
Michael Berryman from the original.
Which was that's the spot I found. So I'm very proud. I feel attached to that movie, even though I had nothing to do with it, obviously.
It's a wonderful film. I absolutely love Hills Have Eyes. And Michael Berryman, this is actually a life cast of him I did for a movie called Ed Gein Butcher of Plainsfield. And I just reused it for this.
If he ever comes out here to do a signing at the Monster Museum, I've got to come out here.
Okay.
Because I need my copy of that Blu-ray sign after finding those filming locations. And then we got a bunch of Chuckies here.
Yeah, so this one I created. This is Chucky, based on part 1. They did like 4 or 5 different looks as he was coming to life. So this is before his eyebrows came in, but when he started having that fleshy skin. And I really love this doll. A lot of people don't always see what I see in it.
Right.
But I love this doll. These 2 were donated here to the Monster Museum.
Wow.
And they're beautiful. They're beautiful.
So the only time I can hear the not New York, the East Coast accent is when you say to the Monster Museum. To the Monster Museum. Because you're from New Jersey, Pennsylvania.
I'm born in New Jersey, grew up in Pennsylvania.
But you've lived in Florida, you've lived in California, you lived everywhere.
Yeah.
So why Boulder City?
You know, I moved to Vegas I got offered a teaching job doing makeup effects here in Vegas. And I never in my life thought I would live in Vegas. I don't drink. I don't party. I don't know how to.
Well, you party, but not that kind of party.
I throw a party. I don't go to a party.
Right.
That's my.
You throw, don't go.
Yeah, I'm better at throwing or hosting than going to one. But when I got to Vegas, I found Boulder City, and it was just absolutely the most idyllic town I've ever seen.
You told me once it's like a little Stars Hollow or something from Gilmore Girls.
It's like Stars Hollow. It's like Pleasantville. My kids ride their bike to school. This is the place I want to raise children.
And so you were like, I'm going to settle down here to work in makeup effects.
Not really. I was.
But
I thought
teaching
I would teach.
makeup effects.
I thought I would teach forever.
But how did it? So then, how did this get started?
I just. It is a huge story of how we came up with the Monster Museum. But when we landed in Boulder, I had all this. I had a lot of stuff.
Right.
I had a whole effects shop in L.A. And then I had pared it down and then moved to Florida, and I had built up more. So when we moved here, we needed a place to put a lot of it.
Right.
And the wife had been patient for 15 years at that time, and she didn't want it in the house again.
Right. She doesn't want Candyman lurking behind the
Candyman's
kitchen
a little
counter.
bit new. He's not finished. He'll have his whole chest of bees and everything.
Oh, man.
And then actually he's gonna go behind a mirror over there by the Hellraiser guys. And when you walk by, it's just gonna light up. Yeah, it's gonna be really
So
cool.
did you think like, oh, well, I'll just get a space to do the makeup effects?
No, I was teaching.
Or just for
I was
storage?
teaching, so I had a workshop and at the
Yeah.
school. So when I got to Boulder and moved into my house, I saw this building available, and I was like, well, that just looks like a cool little spot. I thought we can make a museum there, and I don't know. I just rented it and started putting stuff up and building walls and designing it. It was way less what it is now.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it was still a far cry from what I wanted to
I can
be.
remember when it was like, a little, maybe half this size,
Yeah.
half the square footage
Yeah.
was monster stuff.
Yeah.
And this is like, but I didn't know, and you just told us this earlier before we started, that you had actually tried to buy the Movie Land Wax
I
Museum
didn't.
or
the
get
problem
into that.
is I didn't have any money, so
Sure.
I wasn't trying to buy it.
You were trying to
I
muscle
was-
your way in.
They had a building. Anybody that's not familiar, Movie Land Wax Museum,
Right by Knott's Berry
It was
Farm.
across the street from Knott's Berry Farm,
Yeah.
right by Medieval Times.
Tyler's favorite
And-
place to go ever, right, Tyler?
So-
Isn't that right?
Correct.
Correct.
Oh man, I've been there 2 times when I was 8 and when I was like 11, and I loved it. So here's the thing: the building had been vacant forever, but the figure's still within it because they're
Right.
considered
Right.
historical, and there's a lot of history in there that the general public doesn't.
I don't even know what
understand.
happened to those figures. I just knew that was like an urban legend for us growing up there was like,
They're
dude,
in
they
it.
closed that, but I heard they're
They're
still
all
in
in there. I saw them.
Oh.
So I wanted. I went to the city of Buena Park and I pitched that I would open a makeup effects school, a trade school.
Yeah, and a
makeup effects school
and a monster museum.
And I would put the monsters on display, explaining the history of who made those things because
Right.
they were selling stuff on eBay. They sold the alien from Movie Land
I
on
know.
eBay for like $1,200.
I know.
And that's with the barrels and the slime and all that. And it was so sad to see it going. So I just wanted to preserve it. And I wanted to, we were going to do a film school. My wife was going to teach film and editing and sound
So
design.
you had a whole vision.
I wanted to use, because that building was enormous, like 60,000
Yeah, it was
square
massive.
feet.
And they just tore it down
And,
to build a butterfly sanctuary.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I really.
Things change.
I tried to acquire it.
And all change is good.
And when my patience wore thin and I knew it wasn't going to happen,
Yeah.
I said, let's make our own monster museum.
And here we
and
are.
the journey began in about 2007.
So it's one of those things you started thinking about and thinking about.
We have notes and like graphics designed from
gosh.
2007 that did come to fruition.
Did you
And-
build this, by the way?
Yeah, this is a new figure that is here.
So
since
wait,
the
what
beginning.
came to fruition from the early notes?
Like I had layouts of the characters that I would have
That's
and
so
where they
cool.
would go, and I gotta find them so I can show you copies
That's
because
amazing.
it is pretty cool.
Did you ever think you'd have They Live in here?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, look at that. That's
They were
awesome.
some of the first figures here. They were here when we opened, and
But you did this Predator?
So this Predator was partially donated, partially built, like kit bash, like you said. I did purchase. This is a 3D printed piece I bought, and this is a 3D piece I bought. But there's this. This is the craziest thing that ever happened. This guy comes to the Monster Museum. I don't know. I hope he doesn't watch this. Maybe he'll watch this. Guy comes to the Monster Museum. He
It's a
goes,
juicy story
he goes,
coming close.
I just bought a car at auction, and there's something in the trunk I think you guys might want. And I said, all right, and he brings in a bag, and it's got this upper torso,
What?
the upper torso with the arms, and this is a Halloween mask almost. But it's not a Halloween mask purchase. This is a custom sculpted piece. This is somebody's hyper expensive cosplay.
Oh.
So what I did to it, I put eyes in it, and I built from the waist down, just so and hands. It didn't have hands. So
I love
we
that.
finished it off. But so it was just in the trunk, and somebody brought it in. This place attracts like
Just weird
generosity.
stuff. Well, I was telling Tyler, like, I was here one night. I was hanging out with you. I wasn't filming or anything. I was just passing through. And you're randomly like, I gotta go. Someone just called me. They're donating a claw machine. And 30 minutes later, you come back with
the
just
claw
a
machine.
claw machine.
Yeah.
Just because people know in this town,
It's a weird thing.
Tom needs weird
and,
stuff.
And some not from this town. I had this guy come here from LA, and he was like, this light was used in McHale's Navy and the Munsters, and I think it belongs here at the Monster Museum.
We got to see that. I guess we got to hurry through. But
So,
tell me about these.
These are Killer Clowns from Outer Space, originally created by the Kyoto brothers.
Yeah.
But I sculpted both of these for Trick or Treat Studios. This was the originals of the masks they sell now.
Do they use those masks at Horror Nights and
They
stuff
do,
too?
yeah.
Man.
So they're still in rotation. I think we did it about 12 years ago. These are some of my favorite sculpts. I love Shorty. Shorty is one of my favorites.
It's one of those weird movies that like you can't explain. You just have to watch it. And the
Oh,
first time I
so
ever
fun.
saw it is when we were playing a show in Vegas.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's weird. So to me, it's like has a weird Vegas connection.
Everything within the glass case.
This is all the
is from
screen
my
used.
film career. Yeah, this is screen used stuff from my film career.
So there's the full moon stuff you got.
Yeah, we have the Ouija's, which are kind of like Ghoulies' cousins.
Okay.
And those were some of my favorite pieces to do. John Beekler, my favorite effects artist who did Ghoulies, he passed away, and we kind of made this in his honor.
I love little creatures.
Yeah, me too. That movie's fantastic.
I can't wait until
too.
you do a Plan 10 picture with
It's
creatures
coming.
and puppets.
It's coming. Oh. And it's going to be on a cruise
Speaking of
ship.
puppets, there's all the Puppet Masters.
Puppet Masters. This is from Puppet Master Axis Rising, Puppet Master Axis Termination, and this big one's from Blade the Iron Cross. So I worked on all of these characters. These guys are full animatronic. He's a full animatronic. You can see we had a big Blade that was full-size Blade on the green screen.
Then you got Waleed in
Yeah.
there.
And then these guys are all rod puppets here. These are from Axis Rising. They're the first Puppet Master movie I worked on. I'm a huge Puppet Master fan. This is what I wanted to do in my career. Make stuff for Full Moon.
That's so cool.
And now I would like to be Full Moon.
I love that because most people would talk about studios like that and be like, oh, that's a place I got started and trying to work my way up to Warner Brothers or whatever. And you're like going the opposite direction.
I went the other way.
That's so
this
cool.
This is the wall. This is
this is the banner.
Everything every movie I've worked on up till the After Dark.
That you're proud of, because I know there's things that have got to be missing. You're weird. You don't tell people a lot of stuff. Like you never told people Terminator 3. You
It's
don't
on
usually
here.
throw that
It's on
stuff
everything. This is an actual documentation of everything except for stuff that wouldn't be appropriate for the Monster Museum.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That would take me to 189. I would be at 189.
You've worked in all avenues of film.
Yes, but
films for the whole family and films for only maybe dad.
So this is everything I've been involved with.
Wow.
Like I am really not proud of that movie, but it's on there.
The chain letter.
Yeah. That.
I don't know what.
I got fired from that film.
Oh,
but
okay.
I did work on it, and my name's on the credits, and my work is in the movie, so it's on there.
So it's on
that's
there.
What I mean.
Yeah, and see, there's Angel and Buffy, and I didn't even know you worked on those. Master and Commander. What'd you do on Master and
I
Commander?
made like 12 floating dead bodies.
Okay.
Yeah.
They always need dead bodies. That 70s show, the Looney Tunes
Hell
movie.
yeah, Joe Dante, director of Gremlins.
I didn't know you worked on Last Samurai.
Oh yeah, I life
Did
casted.
you go to New Zealand and everything?
I life casted Tom Cruise from the neck to the belly button.
No kidding.
He had scars all over his chest.
How was that?
He
working
was
with Tom
incredible,
Cruise.
Incredible. He
Everyone
was
says
so
he's like the
cool.
most intense.
Awesome, so friendly. I was 19. He treated me like an equal. He was
That's
awesome.
cool.
I loved it.
It's nice to hear good Tom
I
Cruise
did not
stories.
go to New Zealand. I just did the
And
shop.
that, there's the Legend of the Sand Squatch.
Sand
So
Squatch.
that's an early Plan 10,
Is
right?
it? Yeah, the first.
The
is it
first
real,
one.
or is it just a legend?
And then what have we got over here? I don't even know what this is.
This is Bermuda Island. These are they're like Creature of the Black Lagoon meets The Descent.
Okay.
And we shot this on a tropical island called Vieques off of the coast of Puerto Rico.
Then there's that's where you were.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
there's Poltergeist over here.
Yeah.
We're gonna
This
start
is-
moving faster.
This is my head from Poultrygeist, where the chicken nuggets ate through my face. And I go, where? In the original movie, I said, where the heck's the Toxic Avenger when you need him? And they cut my line.
Oh,
Yeah.
and so there he is, the full Poltergeist suit. Now turn around, Tyler, and check this out. Give everybody the panorama. We got Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes, one of the greatest achievements in film history.
Your favorite Toxic Avenger? Is
Toxic
that like your
Avenger.
ultimate
Oh,
favorite
ultimate.
character?
Yeah. That's what made me want to make movies. And of course,
And we should point out, it is a museum, so there is a lot of information everywhere about
Tons-
like who worked on these
Our
movies.
whole goal here is to educate people on who John Chambers is, who Dick Smith is, who Jack Pierce is,
Yeah.
and John Carl Beekler. And it's I want people to understand how important Planet of the Apes is to film history. A lot of people are like, "Oh, that's that cheesy movie where people the monkeys
No,
talk."
but that
But
inspired
what they don't
so
understand, without the achievement of foam latex that was done in 1968 on Planet of the Apes by John Chambers, we do not have Freddy Krueger.
That's all
We
those
do-
appliances.
that move and they're alive. Before that, it was like Creature Black Lagoon, guy in a rubber mask. Since Planet of the Apes, We have Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We have Hellboy. We have none of that exists without John. And that's
John Chambers.
John Chambers.
That's good. To turn around over here, and we've got
Wolfman.
the Wolfman.
Yeah, Lon Chaney Jr.
And then Herman Munster. There's your best friend Butch Patrick down there.
Yeah, but Butch is
You guys are real life
very,
buddies.
very close friend of mine.
And then check this out. Okay, how fast did you make this?
Okay, so the head I sculpted very fast. The rest from the head to the toes is called cotton and latex construction. This is not
Cotton and latex
there's no
construction.
molds. This is cotton dipped into latex and built up. So
that's like the way they did the original Frankenstein movies,
Yes.
right? With collodion in it?
Yes, but I did the whole body with some help of some students. This took several weeks.
Can you wear this?
No, this is
Okay,
a
so this
one
is
of a
just
kind
created as a
piece
statue.
of art, and it's solid. If this building burned down, he's gone.
That's what I love
But-
about this stuff, though, is like, look at you
That's
got
paper.
cave.
This
you've
is
got a
you know what
one
this
of a
is?
kind.
This is the only remnants from the dinosaur adventure.
Oh,
this paper cave.
Tom
That's
Devlin's
it.
Dinosaur
Yeah.
Adventure. If you guys have never seen it, I did a video.
We tried to make a
Was it
theme
the only
park.
video even?
There was one other.
You created a
Jacob did one.
roadside attraction. You were going for a roadside attraction. It kind of ended up as like
kids park.
a local kids park playground.
But
all
it was
dinosaur
it was
themed.
supposed to be like you entered your own Jurassic Park.
Yeah, it was
And
cool.
and
You got
mixed
to
with
ride
Dino Riders.
dinosaurs.
It was like Dino Riders mixed with Jurassic Park.
Hey, babe, look! You got the ghost with the most right here. It's Beetlejuice.
It is Beetlejuice.
You know the one at Universal Studios? I had a friend who had a surgery on a very delicate part of his anatomy,
Ooh.
and he was in a wheelchair. But we had tickets to Universal, and he still wanted to go because he's like, I'll just ride the
Beetlejuice tapped him
tram.
out.
Well, he walked in, and the Beetlejuice is standing there, right, with the microphone on. Everyone can hear him. He's like, hey, what happened to you, little boy? Why are you in the wheelchair? And he leans in, and he tells him, like, well, I had surgery downstairs. And Beetlejuice is like, oh, okay. So every time I see Beetlejuice, that's immediately what I think
He's
of.
just a perv.
Yeah, just poor Beetlejuice, you know.
this
And
is
then here's the light.
This is the light. This was donated to the Monster Museum from Justin.
Yeah.
And it was apparently used in McKell's Navy as well as the Munsters, the original shoot.
Oh.
And I showed this to Butch, and he verified. He said that's exactly what we were using. You know.
Which is awesome.
And I do have
From the
one
Munsters
photo,
to Ken Stack to me
Yeah.
to Tom Devlin.
and it lives here at the museum.
You have a photo with those lights in it?
I have one photo with a light. I mean, there's no identifying mark, but
Sure.
it's identical in photo.
There probably were too.
Yeah.
It's like you can see where the
Yeah.
paint would have been. Oh wow.
It's
And then you got
cool.
your critters. You got all the way
Hunchback.
back to Lon Chaney.
Yep, Hunchback and Phantom of the Opera. Lon Chaney Sr. is obviously the first American effects artist. He was
Yeah.
an actor, a performer, but also he created all of his own looks.
Man of a
Out
Thousand Faces.
Man of a Thousand Faces. He used this little kit to create so much, and he's amazing. I've always wanted to do a video series where I take a shot at recreating his looks using his materials.
technology.
Yeah, and his
Ooh.
materials. But I just have never taken the time to do it.
That would be amazing. Okay, and then last but not least, if we turn around right here past the creep,
Yeah, we have a little bit of a theater here.
and this used to be its own like separate room, and now it's part of the Monster Museum.
It's really cool that people that are into the education part of this, they come through the museum, they read all the information, and then they sit down and they get to watch documentaries here about how important stuff like Planet of the Apes is or Tom Savini's career.
I
And
love
we've been
this.
in production for a year now, and it'll probably take another year of culminating a Tom Devlin kind of all-encompassing Monster Museum makeup effects, filmmaking, documentary to put in here. So you
that's
end
awesome.
where you end. You see that not everybody that comes
Something
in
that
here
you
knows
made.
who I am.
Right, right.
So they read little bits about me, but they can sit down and they can actually feel like they know me by the time they leave.
Well, I've seen lots of visitors leaving here who already feel that way,
Yes.
just with the museum as is, because they're coming up to you on the sidewalk right now going, oh, thank you, that
Yeah.
was so cool. We never heard of you before. We love this place.
It's very cool, and there are people that come that do know, are aware, but I want them to see.
I mean, that's how I
this
met
side.
you. I drove by and saw Monster Museum.
Yeah.
I had Tyler call and you're like, well, we've seen your videos.
Yeah.
I come in and it's like weird. It's
And
kindred
then,
spirits.
and it feels like we've known each other 100 years.
So you had this, you're still teaching makeup, you're still doing makeup effects, but then all of a sudden you decide to start making your own movies,
Yeah, we kind of built our own production studio.
and that's next door.
Next door.
That's a place I don't think anybody's really been to or really given a
it's
tour
not
of.
really open to the public. So
Now can we go over there?
I would love to share it with you. I know you did a behind the scene video there.
little bit.
So once that happened, A lot of people that come here say, where is it that you made the vampire movie? Where did you make the vampire movie? Because even when Teddy told me to when we did it, at the end it says, shot at the world famous Tom Devlin Monster Museum.
Yeah.
And that way it would give us a little bump in
Right.
business.
And it was shot here.
I mean, mostly next door, but
it was shot next door.
I didn't really want to tell the whole public where we were.
Right.
But then when they come here, they're like, but that's not where Teddy was shot. And where did you do the vampire movie with Justin? I hear that every week. Where'd you do the vampire movie with Justin?
It's not hard to figure out, though, because you can just sort of see the stuff outside, and you're like,
if you drive by, you can tell.
The Plan 10 Pictures BS Backlot, as you call it.
We call it the BS Backlot and Studio 13.
We got to go check it out.
Interior Studio 13, exterior BS Backlot.
Okay, let's go see it. Hey guys, really quick, before we go on to the next section of the video, I want to tell you how you and your whole family can come to Tom Devlin's Monster Museum for free. We're going to give away tickets to you and your family if you go over to my Instagram account and you like and leave a comment on the picture of me and Tom Devlin. Make sure you're following that Instagram account, and you could be the lucky person we DM with information on how to get your free tickets. You and all your buddies or your family, bring grandma and come down and see this, see Toxic Avenger. And then, anyway, back to the video. All right, so now we're going from the Tom Devlin Monster Museum over here to the Plan 10 Pictures little studio over here. I can't remember what Tom just called it, the 13 studio. I'm sure he'll tell us in a minute. This is the place very few people get to see, and this place changes even more often than the museum, because every time I come here, they're working on something new, something weird, something bonkers, something off the wall. Let's go inside. Check it out. One thing's for sure, gotta watch your step out here. There's caskets, there's skeletons. I thought they were onto us. There's gas pumps, there are props and pieces of things everywhere. Watch your step, Tyler. Be careful as you approach. We don't want to end up being props on the wall in the next horror movie. Ah!
So this over here is where we make the magic. This is our, we call it the bull Backlot.
Right. And what was your other name for it?
The interior is Studio 13.
Okay, but this is part of outside, the BS Backlot.
Outside is the backlot. So this is where we do have a bunch of props and stuff we might need, like fence panels and tires and junk and old vans. This van was donated, and then we painted it. This was like a dirty, rusty brown.
And it doesn't run, right? You were towing this thing?
There's no motor in it. And we blew a tire out real bad towing it. But it's awesome. This was for our replica of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre that we did with clowns. And this is our the gas station, which the original was W.E. Slaughter Confections, and we did Y.U. Laughter Confections. Or it's W.E. Slaughter Barbecue.
So we don't gloss over this. You are making a remake.
I am making a shot
an
for
homage.
shot. We call it an extreme homage.
Okay.
So it is a shot for shot, as close as I could get, remake to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but we're shooting in Nevada, and instead of hillbillies, it's clowns.
Oh my god.
And so, of course, instead of a Coke machine, we have the Faygo machine for that famous shot of the ladies that, jiggling, trying to get the soda out of it.
So this is what the gas pumps were for that are up on the porch.
The gas pump sat right where Tyler is standing. You can see the bare spot here and here, and the van pulled right in between. We can't leave the gas pumps out because I don't want anybody to steal them.
Sure.
But, we bring them back up. But sometimes I do come sit out here and just be like, I'm at the chainsaw gas station. Like, if you guys ever get a chance, and I know you have a lot of tourist fans.
Right.
Bastrop, Texas.
We like to travel.
You can go to Bastrop, Texas, and go to the gas station,
right.
the original gas station.
My friend Adam's been there a ton of times.
Oh, God, it's awesome.
I think it's an Airbnb now, right?
Roy
Can you
Rose,
stay there?
Yeah, Roy Rose has built cabins behind it. His wife cooks barbecue.
It's crazy.
And I visited last summer, and they were so awesome. He took me back to his property and showed me some awesome Texas Chainsaw memorabilia that made my hair on my arm stand up.
Does that inspire this project then?
100%. Well, this project was in inception a decade ago. I always wanted to make this movie.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre with clowns.
Yes. Originally, I wanted to call it Kentucky Clown House Killers, but now we're going for Laughter Face.
Okay.
Because we're not in Kentucky. So, yeah.
Laughter Face. Okay.
Laughter Face.
So this is one part outside.
Yeah.
And then we got to go inside.
We're going to move in. And
this is a separate building. So what was this building before it was your building?
This is a 90-year-old building that was everything from, at one point, a Native American museum. It was a welding shop. It was, it's had a million different, there was a wood shop at one time. We used it as a haunted attraction when I first opened. and then we made Teddy Told Me To, and it became Plan 10 Studios. And
That's awesome.
That's what it is.
And now we get to go
Yeah.
inside.
So
All
let's
right.
go.
Carefully up the ramp.
Yeah, there's a lot of junk and broken stuff, so just be careful. Look, that's old Jason from the museum. This is the old
And an old
original-
mummy sarcophagus
Yeah.
down here.
And this is Jason's old head that's just rotten and falling apart. So it was,
never
it
know
was
what you're
time.
gonna find
Look,
out here.
His mask broke, but
Oh.
it's still savable. That's a cool Jason.
Yes.
Old. This is like 20 years old.
All right, so here it is. We're going in.
You might remember these walls from the After Dark. That was the alley.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just reloaded.
Before you even get in the door, you're already looking at movie sets, props,
This
costumes.
is our wardrobe and prop room.
Oh, yeah, over here. Check this
We have our
out.
camera area over here where we keep all our technical stuff.
Because you're getting ready to shoot some stuff
Yeah,
tonight,
we're
right?
gonna shoot some stuff tonight. This is my favorite. This is the old VX 2000 right there.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's my toy.
Old
Old
school
school.
skate video,
Yeah.
old school BMX video. And then
Crusty
look
jeans
at this.
with her.
I recognize some of these costumes from some of the Plan 10 features.
Yeah, we have some from After Dark here. This is from Teddy. We also have this is all from Laughter Face. After Dark is mostly on this rack.
This is blowing my mind, though, because the
This
last
is,
time...
Waleed sculpted this. This is a pig head from a movie we did called Slaughterhouse on the Hill, where Waleed plays our killer.
Oh, my
There's a
gosh.
football guy named Pigskin, and he wears a pig head.
Last
Oh,
time
that's
I was in here, this was all set up as an office. You're breaking furniture in here. There were pro wrestlers fighting
Oh,
in here.
smashing through the walls.
Yeah,
and-
vampire stuff.
Yeah.
That was a makeup room. Everything changes around, and I even heard one of your main actors, Steve, the guy that is the monster in Las Vegas Frankenstein, just walked in here earlier and went, "What the bleep?" Because it's changed so much since yesterday when he was in here.
It's always evolving, and it's necessary to evolve because we have to. First of all, we recycle sets and stuff, but only so much. So,
Right.
like sometimes we have to retire a room and move everything.
Well, this was
So,
your office at one point,
This
right?
was our office, but we've moved it into what was once a set, and then we've where we had all the wrestlers broke through the door and went through the tunnel is now all storage. So it's always evolving, always changing.
Yeah,
but
because I've been here and I'm confused.
Yes.
I don't know where I am. I don't know what we're doing.
I love that.
This
I
is
love
great.
that.
But look, there's monsters in here.
Yeah, this is just storage. So this is our
Wardrobe department.
props, this is makeup, just makeup supplies.
PBR, you got the bar. You got the bar
This,
here.
I don't drink, but we need beer in almost every movie. So Kayla said, "Can we stop throwing the beer away? Because we keep buying more beer.
Just use the same beer over and
So
over."
we just keep the beer, and we don't even open them. They just drink them, drink them without opening.
What's this down here? You're just like
This
masks.
is this is from Bermuda Island. This is an ape that I made. It's a mechanical ape with servos.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's a.
What about the shelf up here? Look at all these guys, Tyler.
So these are cool. Steve played one of these aliens. This is from a movie that I did, and they're like they chomp their jaws. They're kind of like Chud meets humanoids from the deep.
I'd just like to point out the way that you picked that up and played with it the same way that I would pick up an action figure and play with it when I
Yeah.
was 7 years old.
But that's kind of what this is. It's like making my own action figures.
Yeah.
It's like oh,
There's something about like, I tell my friend Brett this about his family. Brett does the voice of Mickey Mouse,
Yeah,
and his
oh,
dad
yeah.
builds like miniature trains and stuff. And I was like, what I like about your family is that you guys still play.
yeah.
And that's kind of why I like you.
Yeah.
It's like coming over to my friend's house and we're still playing over here. You've got all the coolest toys. What's the pig from?
That's from Slaughterhouse on the Hill. That Ashley wears that actually. That's the original mascot costume that Pigskin replicates with his evil.
And
with.
so Slaughterhouse on the Hill. That's another Plan 10
That's a Plan
one.
10 film.
It's going to be
and then
coming
this
out.
is Bloody Gruff from the Bloody Bluff Sasquatch film that got canceled earlier this year because hurricane took out a mountain here in Nevada, which is the weirdest thing you'll ever hear, but it's true.
So an unused Sasquatch.
It will be used. We've got everything packed, everything ready.
Spoiler alert.
But definitely making that movie, and that's Steve Hansen as Bloody Gruff. He's
Oh
huge.
my gosh.
He's
Okay,
great.
let's go this way. Now look around this room, everybody. This room looks completely different every time I walk into it.
This is actually the 1313 Effects workshop. And the reason it looks different every time you walk in here is because it's clean. This is usually trash with
Yeah.
wardrobe and props and makeup.
And people getting stuff stuck to their face.
We've really spread that out between the 2 rooms now. So we have room because we're about to undertake a huge undertaking of building this boxing robot movie. It's called Roboxer Revival. This is the first time I've ever talked about it publicly.
This is a scoop.
I am in pre-production right now for the most epic film I've ever made. It's not a horror film. It's not even close. It's family friendly. It is a coming of age, much like Karate Kid.
So this will be the first movie you've done where everyone keeps their shirt on.
Yes, maybe a shirtless dude, but there'll be. It's like over the top. It's like Karate Kid. It's like Real Steel, but with GoBots.
And these are giant fighting robots.
Fighting robots. They punch and. We're gonna These are actual existing theme park robots that I bought.
These two things.
They drive. They have 8 horsepower Honda motors, and they're like Rock'em Sock'em robots. You hit their heads with their fists.
So someone was using these in a theme park or like a family fun center or something.
And they had a score counter here, but I'm repurposing them. We're going to the fiberglass shields remove. We're molding everything.
Wow.
We're gonna sculpt new faces.
So they're gonna look completely different than this.
Completely different. But still with this authentic metal, like I could have built robot suits.
Sure.
Like we could have been
built fake ones, yeah.
Foam. But this is there's a soul to these.
Right.
So I'm not gonna lose that, but we are gonna outfit them to look so badass. This is gonna play 7 different robots with different skins that are just removable.
So this is the enemy,
and then
this is
will
the
be
hero
the hero.
robot?
This is our all-American Jabber, who will have an Evil Knievel, Captain America, Hulk Hogan feel.
And these things drive, by the way.
They move like skid steers or go-karts or bumper cars. They're hydraulically driven, but they have 8 horsepower Honda motors, and they have pneumatic punching fists.
When we first got here, and you're driving this one around, knocking stuff over everywhere.
Oh, it was awesome.
And
like, what kid didn't want to have their
I wanted to get in it.
Personal Rock'em Sock'em robots.
And it smelled like the Autopia used to smell in here. It was just pure, what is it, diesel in there? What, you got some diesel in there, boy?
It's not. It's just 4-stroke. But,
okay.
You know, they
still smelled weird.
They are, carbon monoxide. It'll get you. So we have to do some building.
Smelled like the 80s.
It did. We have to do some building modifications for where the Roboxer arena will be. We're going to have vents in the ceilings, exhaust fans. But at the end of the day, I'm going to make one of them is going to be called Robocopter, and he's going to have this cop light across his back shoulders and a big propeller that spins.
I love this because you can't get this. Like, if you went to Warner Brothers or Disney or something, we wouldn't be allowed to tell them anything.
But
We'd sign NDAs.
We'll tell you everything.
I love that.
Because you know what? The more people talk about what we're doing, the more they talk about Teddy Told Me To, Las Vegas Frankenstein, the more they go on Tubi and Amazon and rent them. They tell their friends, and it builds, it swells, because it is DIY.
Yeah.
You saw it on the After Dark. We are just doing our best at making the best movies we can. and I say that.
Right, it's like I try to describe your movies by telling people, like, Tom's doing these really cool homages and these really cool films that are like bad movies. But people don't, it's the wrong word to use because people don't understand bad movies. I mean B movies, low budget movies.
They're not purposely cheesy.
Right.
But we're constrained by time and money. But at the same time, we put out a hell of a product, and I have a lot of really good friends.
That's what makes your movies fun to watch, because they have an element of that, what you're looking for in like those B movies, but you're really putting like heart and soul and craftsmanship.
We put real wrestlers in there to do our fight choreography, so we don't have, because we can't afford stuff.
Right. But I love that, like, you're always using stuff like this down here.
Yeah.
You're always using like. Those are Halloween props.
Well,
like from like a Spirit Halloween. This
is from Spirit Halloween. But when you open this, it's zip tied shut. Don't worry, guys. We'll get it open. This is a very important prop.
Look at this. Whoa! We're going everywhere.
Yeah. So this was custom made by a girl named Heidi Moore for a movie I did called The Ouijas, and it is a kill switch to the stratosphere, and you just flip that switch, it shuts off the power to stratosphere. Well, we never used it in the Ouijas, but we wrote an entire movie called Las Vegas Frankenstein around this prop. Because I had this left over
from a movie.
That
was the genesis?
I said, we have to use the stratosphere to power Frankenstein's monster.
Oh my gosh.
Because this is a Frankenstein switch.
It totally is.
So this became the life force of our monster.
But I was watching you on that movie and other ones that I've been here to cameo in, and I watched the way that you pull stuff that's like almost like 99 cent store stuff. Like you're such a scavenger, you're so good at repurposing stuff. And I know earlier you had a bunch of stuff on top of this guy.
Yeah, this is a welding mask. Oh, look, we got these are just from whipped cream.
This is what I like about Tom, and now I'm getting excited.
This is a welding mask. And it's going to be this big, awesome bicep on this guy. So when he's punching, he looks much tougher. Like he's got muscle. You know
I love that you're like the master of like you can sculpt things, you can mold them out of foam, the way they're supposed to be. But you're also into the scavenging.
I
get way more hyper in here because like the museum feels like we're in a museum, but in here it's like I can see the way your brain works. You're the ultimate example of ADD gone right.
I have had this for 5-6 years, and I've used it several times, but never found the right way to use it. I'm going to take this lamp. I'm going to put it on the edge of one of these fists. And I am going to put a drill battery to it. And it's going to spin.
Wow.
And it's going to be so awesome. And then the other robot's going to punch it, and it's going to get all caught up in it. It's going to wrap. And they're going to be like, we're tangled. We're tangled. And then we'll do sound effects. And then... That's how you...
Can I be in this movie? I really want to be in this movie.
Well, I heard you might be around, so we're going to try our best to make it...
I might be out here.
We're going to make it work. At minimum, I will get you in as a cameo.
Okay.
At most, I am going to make
Las Vegas Frankenstein, I'm just in as a cameo.
I'm going to make
I haven't seen that yet, but I heard that you can see me die.
You're great in Las Vegas Frankenstein. You're in the crowd scenes. You are.
Okay, I'm in there. Allie's in there, too. Allie was here.
Allie screams. There's some good stuff.
She's got a good scream.
She's also at the table.
Teddy told me to, though. I get killed. That was fun.
Teddy told you got a good part. And in the After Dark, you're a rock star.
I forgot I was in the After Dark.
Total rock star.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So this is where you're building monsters and
stuff. This is where I make everything. Yeah. So I'm real big into concept art. Whatever I'm working on, we put this is those guys we just showed you, those alien guys. But I just put my concept art up and my clay and.
I love that one day this could be famous. Like these movies could be this B-movie Hall of Fame. This could be a sacred relic, and you're just like throwing stuff everywhere, breaking stuff. No time. We gotta make more movies. No time. Get out of the way.
I try to keep some things like
safe.
I found
safe?
some. I found some of Wally's.
You were knocking everything off the workbench earlier with the robot, and there's some broken microwaves.
I found no. This microwave works.
What's it for?
This is for melting gelatin and hot pour vinyl and clay.
Okay.
Yeah, I use this microwave.
Oh, could you cook food in there?
No.
Oh.
You'll die. But you know what? I caught Kayla cook soup in there.
By the way, this is the first time I've ever hung out with Tom where he didn't have a cast, a sling, or something else, but you're still limping around from when you broke your leg.
8 months
ago. Last time I was here filming the After Dark, you were still in a cast,
and on a peg
jumping up. You made yourself a peg leg so you could show people how to mosh in the movie. You never stop moving.
I'll sleep
when
I'm dead.
Time to heal, Tom. Time to heal. Okay, so what else have we got in here?
This is a homemade vacuum form machine.
Whoa.
So this is how you make hockey masks and stuff like of that nature. It's all made on the vacuum form machine. You put a buck up there, and then you. This is
brings
super
down the
DIY.
heated plastic.
So this is just a griddle, like a pancake griddle, and then
That's how you heat the plastic up?
Yeah. So then I have.
See what I'm saying?
So then these are just screen window holders, and I pinch the plastic, which is like I keep it in here.
I just want to knock stuff over now for fun.
This is the plastic. It's called polystyrene.
Sure.
And you just pinch it between these two, and you hold it up here, and it gets hot, and it starts to melt, and then you drop it down on your mold, and this is a cookie sheet with 100 holes drilled in it. And I have a vacuum.
That's a vacuum pressure.
And it just, and then I make I showed you earlier that Frankenstein
So
mask.
you can just make Halloween masks.
Yeah, like a Ben Cooper, Collegeville style Halloween mask. But also, this is how I make all of Cane Otters. You can see on the back, it's the white. It's just vacuum form.
Tyler's knocking stuff over behind you.
That's okay.
Are you okay, Tyler?
I'm okay, thank you.
Okay, he's okay.
Good.
He just looked nervous. Oh no!
We don't have insurance.
No, you don't have to be nervous. We're at Tom Devlin's Monster Museum. Or no, we're at Plan 10 Pictures. There's
but there's no insurance, so let's just.
let's keep it calm.
But people always think that the hockey masks are fiberglass, but they were all the original ones were
all
vacuum
plastic?
formed. Yeah, it's
Oh.
vacuum formed plastic.
What about this? What the heck is this chamber of horrors?
This is
That's a coffin.
That's a coffin.
Or a casket, sorry. It's not a toe pincher. That's a casket. Just oh, whoa.
You know what's in here? This
No,
is
what's in
filled
there?
with
Hopefully not a dead human
silly
body.
string balloon animals. Lots of balloon animals.
Is this a child-sized casket?
It is.
Oh.
But there's silly string and balloon animals.
A child-sized casket with silly string and balloon animals.
and,
How fun!
And also confetti.
And yes, Tom does own multiple vans with no windows. But those unrelated.
This is our foam latex oven. So
Oh.
basically, when I run, I'll have a cast or a mold. And I
So
put
this is
it
a
in
mold
here.
of someone's head right here, right?
Yeah, that's Warrington Gillette. This is Jason from Friday the 13th Part 2.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I make his costumes. So I run all the foam in the mold, and then I got to cook it for like 6 hours. So I put it in here. This is a homemade box. This is just like a grid wall.
What the heck heats it up?
That's a heating element down there on the bottom.
You see that, Tyler?
That's a
Oh,
heating,
Louie, look at this!
that's a heating element. And then this is a little thermostat, and then I have a fan that just sucks the air and makes a convection
So
oven.
you're not just building monsters, you're building ovens, you're building
Listen,
sets.
to buy this, $10,000. To buy this, $5,000.
To make it, priceless.
No, this was like $28.
That's a milk crate.
That's
and
$28.
an oven sheet.
And this, actually lumber's expensive right now.
Yeah, that's true.
But this was
We figured that
this
out when
was
we built
built-
our Midsummer Screen booth.
This was built a while ago though.
Okay, and now we're going through this. You can go that way,
Yeah,
Tyler,
yeah,
and we'll go this way.
ready?
Look
Go.
at this. Whoa! Who's going to get there first?
Gotcha. Beat you.
Now, this room I recognize. This is Waleed. Hey, Waleed.
Hello.
Waleed's in a band called Chainsaw Fight. Waleed's band played...
Waleed is also in a band called Switch to Fakey.
Oh, that's
Let's
right,
just-
Switch to Fakey.
you know.
But Chainsaw Fight played with a fake version of my band on this stage here because we're standing in what was
The After Dark
the
Club.
After Dark Club. Can you
Yeah.
explain what the After Dark Club is? Because people haven't seen this movie yet. They saw
So,
my little behind the
The
scenes.
behind the scenes on your video is incredible, and you really did paint the picture of what we were doing. But we made a vampire movie that is called The After Dark. It's about punk rock vampires versus goth vampires. It's kind of like Lost Boys versus Interview with a Vampire.
Didn't it start with you having an argument with your friend like
Yeah,
decades
oh, God,
ago
I
when you
was
worked in a movie theater?
15 years old. And this guy, Dan Friel, who was 14, he had real long hair and he wore fangs every day. And he was like, Lost Boys sucks. And I was like, Interview with the Vampire sucks. And he's like, Lost Boys suck. And every day we were in the art class, Art 1 with Miss Cook. She was a total... Anyway.
Lovely person.
Not at all.
God rest her soul.
Anyway, but Dan Friel hated Lost Boys, and I did love Interview with the Vampire, but
Sure.
I was not going to let him have it because
Right.
Interview with the Vampire,
Man.
nah, it's for wimps, and I love Lost Boys. So this in 1998. I came up with this movie and wrote the idea down, like the whole idea. I didn't know how to write a script.
That's awesome.
So I wrote the idea. I tried to make it in 2000 with my buddy Chuck O'Brien. Didn't really work. We shot a couple scenes on a VHS camera. Didn't know what we were doing.
Right.
And then
I still love to see those. Those got to go in the special features.
I've been searching.
Oh.
And then cut ahead to 2023, and we made The After Dark. And every trial and tribulation that could go wrong did go wrong. We lost cast members. I broke
You
my
had a broken leg.
We lost our funding completely, and my wife let me dip into our house fund to
Ooh.
make the movie. And I mean, it's
The lovely Lola Devlin.
it is a moderately low budget movie, but it's the biggest thing we've ever done.
And it was awesome.
And
you had this whole room
This was all
transformed
a punk
to
club.
a
You
punk
can
rock
see
club.
pieces of
Yeah,
it
come over
now.
here.
And actually, the skateboard ramp is behind that wall, and also over there.
That's
like,
right. There was a half
There
pipe
was a
in
half
here,
pipe.
and you can see. Look at this wall, Tyler.
Yeah.
Back there, you see that feast, fight, live by the night. Right.
That's Wally. Wally did those. Wally did all the art design in this room. Was him.
Well, Wally's a
Based
super
on-
talented artist.
Based on my kind of description, but and then Steve built all the stage.
Yeah, look at the stage.
And Steve built the entire back lot that we had with the alleys and all that.
Oh,
shit.
that's right.
All that was it doesn't really exist. We just throw it up for the movie and
Yeah.
then it comes back down.
But I was happy when I walked in here and I see like a little piece of the
Little
After
piece.
Dark. Oh wait, actually, come here, Tyler. Look at this really quick. Come really close. Turn your head. You even have the After Dark logo
Look at Steve's arm.
tattooed.
Look at this guy.
Whoa, Steve! How's it going, Steve?
What's up?
This is Las Vegas Frankenstein's monster, Steve. And apparently the builder of all the After Dark sets. I didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
He builds everything we do here. Like if I can't do it, he's here to do it. And when I got broken he stepped up. Both these guys stepped up like After Dark could have been canceled. I broke my leg, had to have surgery. We were shooting 3 days later or something. You know, it was nuts.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And Gangrel, our lead baddie, he was like, you know, we could push the shoot. And I was like, no, we can't. And then
you had him and Sin Bodhi. And you had Lars Fredrickson came in eventually.
Lars Fredrickson.
You had me.
I had you. I had
Come on, Justin.
Yeah.
I mean,
Waleed was in it, actually. Steve.
It was pretty impressive. And the people that came out and showed up. And then Ashley, our lead girl, we had somebody else planned, a wrestler, and she got hurt. She broke her face.
That's right.
And she couldn't do it.
And Ashley was just supposed to do
Ashley
makeup,
was
right?
makeup girl, and I said, will you be in my movie? And oh my gosh, I just found a starlet.
And she was like the lead.
I've put her in every movie since. And she said, I know you have to change your cast members once in a while, but like think about Tim Burton and Johnny Depp. Can I be your Johnny Depp? And I was like, you are my Johnny Depp.
I thought I was going to be your Johnny Depp. Or fake Tyler. Turns out it was Ashley the whole time.
But yeah, so we're doing something here.
This also, can I just say, this room has a lot less ceiling in it than the first time. By the way, everybody, I died and Teddy told me to.
That's
right here. There's my blood. And then I played on this stage right here. So maybe I should only be in your movies if I'm in this room.
I don't know. I think.
Oh, look.
I think there's some movies to do elsewhere.
This is pretty sticky
That's
right
new.
here.
That's New Blood.
And that's because...
Oh, that is New Blood. Oh, God, Bobby Beamer!
No!
Yeah.
So what's this for?
So this was for the After Dark. There's a scene where Bobby Beamer gets his head chopped off.
Close your eyes, children.
He gets his head chopped off.
It's all fake.
With a skateboard. And we had this CO2 canister here. And then we ran it.
You blew the top of the prop head off.
So the skateboard comes down and it did a full flip and then like slid back. It was beautiful. Wonderful, wonderful effect. I wonder if the effects artist is full of himself.
This is a pretty... Boulder City is a cute town. It's like very cute,
no
very
idea
quaint.
what happens in here.
There's a lot of older people who descended from the dam builders when they built the Hoover Dam. It's very kind of a conservative, cutesy little place. Do people like know?
They love the Monster Man. Like that's a thing. Like my wife, we walked into the bank the other day, and our banker said, "Should I call you the Bride of the Monster Man, or should I call you Miss Monster?" And she goes, "Well, you call me either."
When we check into like the motel, they're like, "Oh, what brings you to town?" I'm like, "Well, I'm making a movie." "Oh, down at the Monster Museum."
Yeah.
I still haven't gone there, but I'm gonna check it out one of these days.
That's my favorite thing about Boulder City. They all love the Monster Museum, and they're like, "Oh, I love the Monster Museum." I was like, "Oh, when was the last time you went?" Because I change it a lot. So that's always my first question. "Oh, I've never been." "Oh, okay."
We just love that it's there.
Just love that it's there. We are really fueled by tourists. The locals, we got a couple locals that are regulars.
Yeah, they come to the haunt, I'm sure.
But we do, and I mean like a couple, like 7. But we don't cater to Boulder City. They love us in the community because we bring people to the community.
Yeah.
And I wish they would come out because it's not just a scary thing. It's educational.
Awesome.
It's fun.
But I love this. I love that you're ripping this building apart and rebuilding it.
So here's the thing. This ceiling will come completely off for the robot movie. And then it might go back up for the next
And then robots
film,
will be fighting in here.
Yeah, we're going to build this cool big chain link arena that's like a boxing ring.
Oh, you know what I just thought of? I didn't die in the afterlife.
After Dark.
Or After Dark.
But maybe the sequel's called The Afterlife.
Yeah, so could I come back in the sequel?
I think you could totally come back in the sequel.
Okay, and then there's one more space we gotta see.
After Dark 2, Night of the Manic Moon. That's coming. That's coming.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
Oh!
The vampires are going to fight were-hyenas.
Oh! All right, so where are we now?
This is part of the BS backlot, as you would call it, and we call it Clown Town. This is... Now this set has been many sets. This has been Nameless's Fortress. This was the Teddy Told Me to Kill trailer, the haunted house. This has been in so many things, but we just repurposed the whole thing to Clown Town for our Laughter Face movie, where we reconstructed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre porch as close to picture perfect as we could, but it's been invaded by Clown Town. Is like kind of built into this weird circus world.
Right.
So. And there's a scene in the movie where Sally, the original Sally, runs up and tries to get in the house and can't. So we have our Susie, not Sally, run up to this door and she can't get in. And then she goes into there and that's where all the mayhem happens. She goes up the stairs. She sees Grandpa. Ah!
So that's the current project.
Yeah,
that's the current sort of mess.
So that's why there's a mess here right now because we're about to do reshoots, not reshoots, pickup shoots.
Pickup shots.
For Laughterface that we weren't able to get in the.
So that's the
principal
name of the
photography.
movie.
Yeah,
the Texas Chainsaw with Clowns.
Yes, Texas Chainsaw with Clowns, Laughterface.
Laughterface. But
And,
this was the outside of the After Dark last time I was here. There was no
last time you were
porch.
here, this was a club, and there was a big monster and some. Yeah, there was no porch.
This
There was
whole
none of
giant
this.
trailer was turned sideways. It was
Oh,
a whole
it was
different
over
thing.
there, yeah.
There was an alley with burning drums and homeless vampires.
Yeah, the alley
and
right behind. Tyler
Oh, yeah, right
over
behind
here
Tyler.
was an alley, and now it's just storage of bunches of junk. So,
Props.
things change, man. There was a tunnel here that it rained in the After Dark, and
That's crazy.
but it all changes.
So did you ever think this would happen? Did you ever think you'd be
I
like,
mean, honestly, yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I did.
That's an even cooler story.
I didn't know that I would ever be a director, but I've been producing. I produced my wife's films before. I've produced other people's films. I like creating movies. So whether it's makeup effects, getting everybody together, I just never knew that I would be the captain of the ship the way I am, which is such a baffling thing because of course I'd be the
But you
captain
got a
of
great
the ship.
team too.
I do
A
have-
great
I have
team
an
of misfits. It's
amazing
like the
team.
Island of Misfit Toys. It's
Amazing
awesome.
team.
So what would you say to anyone out there who is the next young Tom Devlin, how to get started, how to get your foot in the door if you want to achieve something like this?
The only thing that can stop anybody from doing anything is yourself. The only thing that can get in your way is yourself. If you can tell yourself, like I hear all the time, oh, there's just not enough time, not enough time. Sure there is. Wake up earlier and go to bed later. There's enough time in the day. You just have to do it. When you work an 8-hour day, and you're like, oh, I'm exhausted. I'm going to go home and play video games, watch movies. I'm going to go drink, whatever it is. I don't do that. I work all day, and then say I'm making monsters. I make monsters all day, and then I step outside and I build sets, and I go home and I have dinner, and I wake up and I do it again. The only person that can get in your way is you. It's never a budget. It's not something, oh, I don't have the equipment. We all have the equipment. Our phones,
That's right.
that's your equipment.
Yeah.
If you can make anything, you know what I mean? You can
I love
edit
that.
it, shoot it. You can run a boom pole into that freaking phone now. So I use
You can make monsters out of...
I use a bigger camera now that is very professional.
Sure.
But if I had to, I would just use my phone.
Just go back to the VHS camera.
Yeah. Oh, but I do that on purpose.
Yeah.
Like we shot some great VHS stuff on Slaughterhouse on the Hill of Waleed. Waleed was in prison. And
That's awesome.
he met his
Well,
end.
I just get inspired every time I come here. Every time I come here, I'm like, oh my gosh, look how much Tom is doing. And I feel like I'm doing nothing.
But that's the thing. You do a lot. You do a lot.
try.
You're on the move.
Yeah.
You're all over the place. But it's the
But this
people.
is next level.
I meet people every convention I go to. Oh, I always want to do what you do, but I'm from Tennessee and there just wasn't anything to do. Dude, I'm from Pennsylvania. Like I grew up
And
before
now you're
the
making
internet.
movies in Boulder City, Nevada.
And before the internet. Like I didn't
Yeah.
have YouTube. I didn't have a
Tutorials,
tutorial
right.
on anything. It was like, oh, you got to put a machete through a guy's stomach? How do I figure out how to do that?
So what you're saying is,
You just got to try.
you just got to do it.
Just got to try. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. And now you have pickup shots to do.
Got
so
pickup
we'll
shots.
get out of your way.
You guys are welcome
but
to
can we
stick
peek?
around.
Can we peek while you do it?
Totally welcome to stick around.
All right.
I'd love to have you.
We're going to see Tom Devlin, director, in action any second.
As if you've not seen that before.
That's true. All right, we're inside the Monster Museum, and look what they dragged in here. They dragged this whole little truck contraption for their clown remake, shot-for-shot clown ultimate homage of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they're just rehearsing the scene in here. They're actually filming a scene inside of the Monster Museum. So now the Monster Museum is a set. Hi, Ashley. There's Steve over there. He's being clowny. There's Tom
God,
directing.
we're back.
You're
We're
ready.
back.
You're ready to shoot, right?
We're ready to shoot.
We're gonna be shooting right now.
We are about to roll on our first pickup day of Laughterface. There's going to be a couple more that we have planned, and this is really fun stuff.
It's happening. So come here, Tyler. Look at this. Hello, Steve. Nice clown shoes. I like
Thank you.
those.
Thank you. Thank you.
Look
You
at
always
this.
have a friend wearing big red shoes.
They got the camera. They got the cotton candy and its insulation foam. These are all movie secrets. Normally, you'd never be allowed to show the things from the movie that hasn't been seen yet. Look, you're getting things lit up. That's another Justin. How you doing, Justin?
I'm doing great, Justin.
You got Waleed in here. How you doing, Waleed?
Howdy.
Waleed's doing great. And that's it. They're about to shoot a movie. So thank you guys for coming along on this crazy weird journey to the weird, wild, and wonderful Tom Devlin's Monster Museum / Plan 10 Pictures / BS Backlot. I know, we're going to watch him make a little movie magic. See you guys next time. Make sure to check the links down below. Thank you, Tyler, for filming this. Oh, you're welcome. See you later.
Action!
It's okay, girl. It's all right. It's okay. What's wrong with you? What's wrong? Come on. You're gonna be okay. Come on. Sit down. I look. You hold on.
Whoa! Freak out in the arcade!